Hold on. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Say hi in the comments. Looks like we have about 4 or 5 people on right now. I can never really read the YouTube interface that well. There's like different numbers in different places. So say hi in the comments. If you already liked the video, thank you. We really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, drop a like, subscribe, make sure you're subscribed, you know, all the good stuff that all the YouTubers say.
Make a donation.
Make a donation. Or buy a house, you know.
Okay.
Hi, Julian. Okay, so Julian was commenting a bunch earlier. And then I spoke to someone, Julian. Hi, Brianna. I spoke to someone, the woman who I was on the phone with earlier,
yes,
from Austin. And that's who I thought her ex-husband was. Oh. Because she's a nurse, and he commented on the nursing video.
You didn't get anybody in trouble, did you?
No one's in trouble. I saw your comments, Julian. I will respond. I don't know if there were any.
So Julian's a healthcare professional?
I don't know. Are you?
Okay. If you're comfortable saying it.
He just had a lot of nice comments. I think he's left like 4 or 5 comments this morning.
I don't know if they were questions, Thanks but I will respond. Thanks for watching and engaging. That means a lot to our baby channel.
To our little baby micro channel, yes. Okay, do we have any updates? Let's start there. I'm already hot. You guys are making me nervous.
Yeah, pretty hot.
But I've been waiting all summer to take out my favorite sweater, which is like boucle or whatever, but it's so soft, and I love this ridiculously high turtleneck thing. I'm obsessed.
Do you want me to turn the fan on?
No, because the noise. I have wool socks on and slippers.
Being crazy.
No.
Pre-med student currently working in the medical field. Very cool. Very cool.
If you're wondering, it's not that cold because I said I had wool socks on and slippers.
Yeah, you're a little bit.
It's not that cold. I just really like being warm.
But summer's bye-bye. Summer's gonzo. And we're welcoming, I think both of our favorite season is fall, right?
Yeah, hands down.
And here fall is particularly
gorgeous.
Nice. So the heat is gone. We got more temperate temperatures. It's been raining a little bit, which if you've been following us for a while, you know we're big fans of. We're doom and gloomers.
Brianna says my mom and sister are in school to get their RN.
Whoa.
You are not receiving enough video to maintain smooth as such view. What?
Should I shut down? Oh, maybe because I'm watching here?
Yeah, maybe we'll shut down our other channels. Yeah, October is the best month. All of our family has birthdays in October. Like Jarrett's mom, brother, and father, my sister, my grandma's husband. We're like surrounded by Libras, and I guess they're all Libras.
Yes.
None of them are Scorpios.
Cuba Libre.
How's our stream? Is it coming across clear? Because YouTube is telling us that it's not receiving enough video. I guess I can also close out my apps. Mine is the 26th. So you're a Scorpio then, I think.
Wait, when's the
I'm not super into astrology.
You're not?
No.
I'm super not into astrology.
Okay, but I'm not super into it. I like it a little bit.
Okay.
I would tell you, you guys, my sign, but my sign is probably one of the most discriminated against astrology signs. So take your guesses in the comments. Okay, let's get started. We don't have any announcements, do we?
No announcements.
Brianna's a Libra too.
Libra. My whole family's Libra.
Okay.
Shout out to Brianna and shout out to Libras.
Yes, Libra shout out. We got Libra love over here.
We're going to do some Libra travel this month.
Yes. They say you're not supposed to announce that you're traveling in advance of traveling for safety concerns, you know? Mm-hmm. Pisces. It's not a Pisces.
Are you screen sharing?
Not yet. I'm about to. Now we are.
And, okay.
So today we are bringing you some state rankings. We'll jump into it. We'll kind of hop back and forth between the comments, and hopefully we can make this not an hour long like all of our other lives.
It will not be an hour long. Did you want to introduce yourself, though, to people who are new, possibly?
Oh, yeah. So if you've never watched our channel is called Living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd. I'm Hal Byrd. This is my husband, Jarrett. We have a real estate business. Jarrett's been a long-time real estate investor since the early 2000s. I'd wanted to be a real estate agent / realtor since I was in high school, and after we moved up here and decided that we really wanted to stay in Washington in the Pacific Northwest. I got my real estate license, and it's been a beautiful thing ever since. Having relocated ourselves, we relocated from California to...
SoCal.
Yes, from Southern California to Southwest Washington 3.5 years ago. And we wanted to provide a resource on the internet that helped people and answered questions that we couldn't get anyone to answer for us. We could barely get anyone, and I know that my clients have experienced this too. We could barely get anyone to even talk to us or respond to our inquiries. It was very difficult relocating, and I told the woman I was speaking to earlier today that we kind of just took a blind leap. We're like, we'll try it out. We're not trees. We can always move if we don't like it. And we ended up loving it, and just wanted to provide a better relocation experience to people who are looking to buy, sell, or invest. And even if you're looking to rent, please reach out. I can still put you in touch with different complexes you might be looking at, give you a different idea of what the rental market is like. I also have a list of local property managers that I can send to you. So I still have resources, even though I don't handle rentals directly right now.
Yep. And let us know in the comments if you are considering moving. What has you thinking about it? For us, it was a multitude of reasons, right? It was some preparedness concerns in Southern California. It was the desire to be around less people, to get into more nature and more of a four seasons type of lifestyle, outdoor activities. Mm-hmm. So we had a couple of different reasons. Less taxes, if that can relate or resonates with you. So let us know, what your reason may or may not be, mm-hmm. or maybe for moving.
Yeah. And then I guess because you talked about the fall season. So today's Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. It is 57 degrees outside. It says it feels like 57.
And it's rainy.
It's raining, which we love. Light rain showers.
Great day. Let us know in the comments if you like, what's your best season. We both happen to love fall. It's to say goodbye to the hot, the dog days of summer. You can break out your different clothes, so whether you're into what do you call this, boucle
or sweaters,
or I'm old school and simple, so nothing makes my heart warmer than a nice corduroy.
And what brand are you wearing today, dear? Like we're on the red carpet?
No shout outs unless I'm getting sponsored.
Sponsorships
only.
And then one of the other concerns that the woman I spoke to earlier was talking about was,
some of your water?
Yes, was she was concerned about, she was 9 days of dark overcast. And so our overcast up here
Where did she get 9 days of dark overcast from?
Someone she knew who, I guess, lived in the Pacific Northwest, or just, I don't know, stereotypes. But she was concerned about not getting any sun. So even though I see 2 days of showers today and tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we are supposed to have sun, and it'll be in the low 60s. So It's cold, but we still get the sun in the winter and fall. Let's check the comments, and then I guess we'll go over to our thing. I'm a Scorpio. Thinking about moving, but not sure if I want to move to Portland or Vancouver. Fall, I love the changing of the leaves. Yes. Not sure if you want to move to Portland or Vancouver.
Julian says loves the autumn weather. Amen to that.
Yes. Just text me. Where's the text? Somewhere over here. Text me, and I can kind of help you decide and see where you might want to go. Okay, we're already 10 minutes in.
They both have their positives, obviously, like anything, right? Compromise, positives and negatives. One of the great things we promote a lot about on this channel is, specifically in Washington, you're picking up a lot of tax advantages, better, more housing for the money, but you still have that proximity, literally within minutes, to Portland. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, which went into our decision making as well. So
and I would say that a lot of it is going to depend on where you work. If you work in Oregon, you're going to have a commute. Mm-hmm. So if you work in Oregon, you're going to pay Oregon income tax either way. So if you're anti-commuting, or if you like being in the city,
about that, like a little.
You want to take the commute yourself?
No, I will do that though. But I'm talking about just do like a little, I don't know, call it Venn diagram or something for taxes, because that still confuses me.
Brianna, we have spoke.
Living in different states, and then the taxes that apply or don't apply. So
I think I remember speaking to you. We spoke recently, in the last month. Because now you're saying your mom and sister getting their RN. And I think are you the one that's the most pro moving up here, and they're kind of on the fence? I have so many people reach out. It gets really confusing. Also, I do need to say this. if you text me or called me between Sunday early afternoon and today, I did not receive your text. My phone line was down and compromised. I have two...
Were you hacked like Facebook?
I don't know. It was terrible. I was low-key freaking out, and I'm pretty I'm a cool cucumber for the most part. So I was freaking out a little bit. But I got it restored. I got it fixed. I have two lines on my one cell phone, and one of them was compromised, but I got it back. So if you've texted me since Sunday, just reshoot it because I missed every call and text since in the past 48 hours. Fun times. Okay. So
let's get on with the get on.
We all want to move, but not sure where. Okay. I'm going to touch base with you after. So let's hop over to...
And what was the genesis of this live?
So we were doing some research for, I believe it was our EVs in Washington State video.
Yes, that was a fun one.
The last video we produced. And we came across this website called Choose Washington. It's put on by the Washington State Department of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And they had some really interesting points that I wanted to share on a live. I'm probably not going to do a full video around it, but just thought it'd be cool to kind of highlight some of the rankings, and then people can kind of dive in as much as they want and do their own research.
Mm-hmm. And it has more of a slant for businesses, trying to attract businesses to the state of Washington and consequently their employees. But it's still some really useful and interesting data and information and metrics for us as business owners, and specifically in the real estate business as well. So, and some stuff that maybe you guys will find interesting and useful.
Yeah. So we are here on U.S. News and World Report. Choose Washington referenced this ranking. This is actually for 2021 best states rankings. So measuring the outcome for citizens using more than 70 metrics, and you can see here. Oh, surprise! Washington was ranked number one. I think it's been ranked number one at least 2 or 3 years.
Shout out to the Evergreen State.
Yeah. So if you're wondering what these were, I was like, is this on a scale of, when I first saw this, I'm like, is this on a scale of 1 to 10 and education is a 4? No, what this is saying is this is where each state ranks compared to the other states. So healthcare being 8 is 8 out of the number 8 state when it comes to healthcare out of all 50. I think they rank 51.
Yeah. Can I read the little description?
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. So should I start from the top or the bottom?
Wherever you want.
It says more weight was accorded to some state measures than others based on a survey of what matters most to people. Healthcare and education were weighed most heavily. Then came state economies, infrastructure, and the opportunities states offer to their citizens. Fiscal stability followed closely in weighting, followed by the measures of crime and corrections and the state's natural environment. So it's kind of interesting factors.
Very comprehensive.
Yeah.
So Washington ranked 8th for healthcare, 4th for education, which is it's pretty good. Economy is number 4. Infrastructure, number 3. Now, what would you say about our infrastructure makes it so great? I mean, our roads, our highways are good, right?
Yeah. Now, I think we should preface this because still relatively new to Southwest Washington and Washington State. Most of our perspective and experience has come in Southwest Washington.
Right.
So there's a whole other state out there that we're not super familiar with.
Yeah.
That being said, the roads are average to me. They're not. I don't know. They're not.
Well, so I think about the highways, bridges. The highways themselves are great. The roads, we've talked about this before on other videos. The roads, both in Vancouver and Portland, are a little potholey for the fact that we don't get a lot of snow.
That was my experience in California too. Living in California for a few years, I'm like, why in the hell are there all these potholes and cracked streets? I'm like, it's sunny and 70 all the time. And
you pay out the nose for
right, but sure enough, I mean, some of the raggedy streets, I'm like, this doesn't make sense in Southern California. What
are streets in Philly like?
They're horrendous, but they're justifiably horrendous because it snows every winter and they ride around in salt, and everybody knows salt tears up asphalt.
I wish we made our streets the way that Germany does.
I do too. Let's get into
Infrastructure business?
Infrastructure business. Get some of that Joe Biden money.
All right.
But infrastructure is a 3. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We probably need to do a deeper dive on infrastructure, right?
We can also sort by this so you can see which states were ranked the best.
I like that.
So, California, Hawaii, Massachusetts.
Wait, but then it says ranked number 1.
Yeah, so we're sorting now by healthcare, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where Washington comes in 8. So these states beat Washington in healthcare. And then if we sort by education, you can see New Jersey, Massachusetts, Florida. Now, how did Florida, from an education standpoint, beat Washington? I thought that they didn't have great schools in Florida.
I mean, maybe they don't have great colleges, but I mean, I don't know.
I thought the whole school system was
We're just sharing the findings, guys, and kind of.
But apparently I was wrong. I mean, I trust U.S. News and World Report than my knowledge of Florida. But I also have a bias against
There's
Florida.
always a... Take it like anything, guys. Take it with a grain of salt. I know I do.
So that's education. Let's check. Where we ranked for economy?
I don't like this view. I'm getting confused.
You don't like seeing it by category?
No,
all right, so we're back here.
A little slow on the uptake or something.
So we're back here.
All right. So number 3 out of 50 states in infrastructure, we're right around the midway point for opportunity. Mm-hmm. Okay. Fiscal stability is good. Mm-hmm. Crime and corrections is decent. Natural environment, I thought we'd be higher in natural environment.
I do too. Do you want to know who ranked number 1 for natural environment?
Oh.
You'll humor me for that one? Hawaii. Overrated in my opinion.
Me too.
South Dakota, Massachusetts,
But then again, what is their definition of natural environment, right?
Mm-hmm. Vermont's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Idaho, I haven't been there. Wyoming, okay. Maine.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Some of these are debatable. Okay. So anyway, you guys can come and explore and see what each factor was. But we just wanted to share that, again, we were ranked number 1. Now, where's 2020? Because this is 2021.
2020 was the year of the outbreak.
Anyway, you can see all the other ones. Oh, Washington. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. So then best places for business and careers. This is by Forbes. They rank Seattle as number 1. And these are just by city. And then you can see Portland's number 5. So one of the reasons I wanted to share this was because, especially with the increase in remote work or hybrid work, like I had the couple reach out to me who the husband is going to be working for a few more years in Issaquah, but they don't want to buy there. They want to buy down here. And he's going to be hybrid. So they're planning on living down here and just commuting when he needs to go into Issaquah, and either having like a rental or a smaller house there, something like that, a condo.
Stop putting people's business out in the streets.
They don't know. Nobody knows who they are, where they're from. So the fact that you could have the best of both worlds, at least in the Pacific Northwest here, between Seattle and Portland by living in Vancouver or somewhere in Washington is really smart. Plus, if you do remote work for a Portland company and you're in Washington, then you're not paying sales tax. Or not sales tax, income tax.
Yep. Which, depending on what state you guys live in now, could be upwards of an extra 10% of your income going out the door. So that was, again, a big factor for us.
And not even living in another state. I mean, if you live in Oregon.
That's another state. Bunga bunga. Bunga bunga.
I guess I was just thinking farther away.
Yes, I get you. I'm sorry.
Okay, best and worst state economies. So also another ranking from Wallet Hub. So we have multiple sources ranking. You have U.S. News and World Report, Forbes, and Wallet Hub. They said that Washington was in the top for economy, listed number 2 as of this year, after Utah and then California, and they have their own ranking and methodology. So they compared the 50 states across economic activity, economic health, and innovation potential. I did see news, and I didn't pull it up here, unfortunately, about how Washington State got a big grant to help businesses here increase their exports.
Interesting.
Like I want to say $250 million grant the state got to help businesses. So if you are going to start a business here, if you have a business here, and you want to get into exporting, I know for a lot of people, my degree is in entrepreneurship, so I study this, and in one of the top entrepreneurship programs in the country, and For a lot of small businesses, it can be really intimidating, but it's such a huge opportunity to be able to export to these different markets around the world.
Sure.
And it's a lot closer in reach than I think a lot of people realize. And the fact that the state and the government, they want you to export, they want to increase that part of the economy. They make it pretty much as easy as possible. Okay, let's check on comments. Vermont has beautiful autumn colors going on. They definitely do. Kim says, finally visiting Portland and Vancouver.
Great time of year.
Where are we? We all want to move, not sure. Also, I work as a dialysis tech, and we have a travel tech that's from Oregon. She mentioned how nice it was there, and that I would love Vancouver and how close Portland is. Yeah, 100%. So here I am. Well, welcome. Definitely should be higher for natural environment. I agree.
Yes, absolutely. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Not at all. Okay. So then let's hop over to this Choose Washington website. So you can see Washington State Department of Commerce. There's some key sectors here in the state in terms of industries. So if you come here and you're looking for a job, or if you're thinking about a career change when you move to Washington, these are some industries that I would look into. There's also a big chip manufacturing plant in Beaverton that's hiring right now at like $25 an hour.
I saw that.
They can't get enough people to work. And they're like, I think they're hiring people while they're still in school because they just don't have enough labor for it. So if you want a $25 an hour job and you don't mind commuting, or even if you want to live out there, that's one of the areas. And if you need more info on that, text me. I'll send you the info. So aerospace, obviously Boeing being up here, one of the biggest companies that's actually come out of Washington State. Agriculture and food manufacturing.
Listen, the state has more than 1,300 firms in its aerospace cluster. 1,300. I mean, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Building products and services for major manufacturers and airlines throughout the world, including Boeing, Airbus, Embraer, I didn't know they were here, and Bombardier. Wow.
Huh.
That's seriously... And it makes sense, because if you think about it, our West Coast, well, there's only 3 states on the West Coast, but the West Coast is such an integral part to business in Asia, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, it explains why there's a lot of opportunities here based on certain industries.
And then just strategically from a military standpoint, because military and aerospace are so tied in, having the military spread out across the coast makes a lot of sense. Yep. That's partially one of the reasons from a prepping standpoint that we didn't relocate to the Seattle area. I had someone text me. Of course, they text me like on Sunday, and I couldn't get texts out, asking about why we chose Vancouver over Bellingham and Issaquah. And part of that was about the preparedness and the nuclear stations that are in Seattle.
Right. And then after we moved, we found out a small detail we somehow overlooked called the Cascadia subduction zone. So that's not a minor thing to consider, but it's a 300-year earthquake that will ultimately, when it does go, it'll result in a tsunami. So another reason, again, we didn't know
why you like being farther away from the actual ocean.
Want to, if that's a concern for you, why you want to be further away. We're about 50 to 60 miles from the coast. So, God forbid, when and if that happens in our lifetime, we have a rather large buffer for this Cascadia subduction zone. Look it up if you're into it. I've become somewhat of a geology fan since we moved up here. And King 5, which is a Seattle news station, did a really tremendous piece on the Cascadia subduction zone. And
then also Nick Zentner, look up his YouTube. He
Professor
also does,
Nick.
Those are 2 videos that I would highly recommend checking out if you're interested in learning about it. For us, I grew up within 10 miles of the San Andreas Fault, so the idea of living close to an earthquake zone doesn't freak me out so much. We experience way more earthquakes in California than we have here.
Yes.
I guess the downside is we technically have just as big, if not a bigger, impending earthquake.
Yeah, the threat is bigger here.
Yeah. And I think California...
Well, not bigger here. I guess bigger on the Northwest. But I don't have you experienced an earthquake here?
I thought I experienced one the other day, and I looked it up, and there was one, but it seemed like it was too far away to feel it. But I was up late at night, and I couldn't sleep, and like I swear the earth was shaking. But I mean, I've experienced real shakes where you can hear it and like stuff falls over, and it was nothing compared to that. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Agriculture and food manufacturing. The state's 39,500 farms grow, produce, and ship 300 different crops, ranking second in the nation, I'm guessing, after California. Food and beverage production supports 164,000 jobs in Washington state, which is the leading producer of apples, sweet cherries, pears, raspberry, and hops in the United States, which are all great things. When we get our land, I want to have apple, cherry, and pear trees. Yeah. Not hops, but...
One thing I'm really excited about is getting into vertical farming, and we've been coming across some really interesting information about vertical farming and utilizing like a fraction of the amount of land and water and resources that traditional old school farming uses. So,
Kim, I saw your text. I'm going to text you back, or I might just call you because we're going to run out after this. We have an errand to run. I'll probably just call you when we get in the car.
All right, let's keep it moving. Clean technology that kind of goes towards our video the other day. EVs in the Evergreen State or in Washington. Washington is a major player in developing new, renewable, sustainable energy sources while protecting the environment. One of the things that we love about this area specifically is that a big percentage of our electricity is generated by is hydroelectric. So it's cleaner, it's cheaper, and you actually see that and feel it in your electric bill. And then the video that you did the other day, if you're have or considering an electric vehicle and you plan on charging at home, can mean a tremendous difference. I think you said a fill up is $6.
Yeah, on an electric car from empty.
So it's kind of mind blowing when you think about it along those terms, but it is pretty cool.
And also, just a visiting tip. So if you're thinking about moving here and you're visiting, I always recommend people go to Cape Horn Lookout, which is along Highway 14. And if you're going to go out that way, you can also cross over Bridge of the Gods and go to the Oregon side of the Bonneville Dam. That's where we get our hydroelectric power from. So if you want to see it up close, they do tours. Really cool to see the fish jumping through the locks. So
ladders. Yeah. They actually built fish ladders to help the fish, because they built a dam, obviously, so to help the fish get up to the next level of the dam safely and continue their journey to spawn. They built these ladders, and you can actually watch the fish navigate. Basically, in essence, they're bunny hopping into these higher levels. So
because they're swimming against the currents to go to their tributaries to mate and do whatever they do, lay eggs, all that stuff. Very fascinating, and no matter what age of people we've taken there, like young and old, it's a hit.
That's awesome. One thing that this area, like one of the intangibles, we talk about a lot of the benefits, but one of the intangibles is that for me, and I always like outdoors, but it just kind of really opens you up, and because you're immersed in it, you find it even more interesting, if that makes sense. So like learning the migration pattern of salmon, like if you take 2 minutes to learn what a salmon's life cycle is, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. You know,
they literally leave here and they go out like way out into the Pacific, like hundreds of miles, basically to like almost like Japan and Russia.
They go around the entire what's called the Pacific Rim. So they go from the Columbia River, hundreds of miles down to Columbia to the Pacific Ocean, and then around the Pacific Rim and back to the exact same spot.
The exact same tributary, not just the Columbia River, like the exact same tributary stream where they were born.
Right. So stuff like that, I eat it up, man. I love it. So
doesn't it make you think like animals are so much smarter than we are?
Well, we're smart. We're too smart for our own good in a lot of ways.
Could you? Well, like I wasn't born here, and I wasn't born where I grew up. I could never go back. Like
no, but we don't have to. They depend on that for their reproduction. You know what I mean?
That's true.
All I have to do is kiss you. Let me stop. All right.
Okay. Forest products.
Are we going to read all of these?
No, we're going to go through them fast.
Stuff to
you
do.
You can search this yourself. ChooseWashingtonState.com.
Yeah, it's a good website to reference.
So forest products. So a little bit of white collar, blue collar, IT, information technology, life sciences and global health. Specific to Clark County, which is where Vancouver is, healthcare is one of the biggest sectors of employment. Healthcare and education, and I guess government, are like the biggest sectors of employment here. So if you're a healthcare worker, hint, hint, mom and dad, you are welcome to come to Washington State and move here.
Keep more of that hard-earned money.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Maritime. So with thousands of miles of shoreline, it should not be too surprising that Washington State is a powerhouse for the maritime industry. We have a shipyard. You know, my grandfather worked on a shipyard. He built ships for World War II on the Columbia River. Anyway, getting too off topic. Military and defense, no surprise there as well, with Boeing and Airbus and the aerospace industry being here, as well as being I would say a major defense line, the whole West Coast. God forbid that there's a World War III and, you know, we go to war with China and Russia and India. It's like my worst nightmare.
And Thanos.
Now I'm scared. And then tourism. The state's 5th largest industry is tourism, bringing more than $21 billion annually to Washington and employs 180,000 workers statewide. That's cool. Little known fact too is that international migrants are the biggest group of people that migrate to Washington. So versus people migrating from like California migrants, actually people migrating from the international market. Yeah, I couldn't find a breakdown on that. My guess is a lot of it is probably from Asia and Europe. All right, where are we at with comments? I'm here to the end of the week.
Roger knows about Professor Nick.
He's the bomb. He has rekindled my love. He's amazing.
Hey Roger, I got Hallie's mom hooked on geology through Nick, and it was so cool to see her kind of grow that affinity for geology. So yeah. He's awesome. And I don't know if any of you guys are still on Facebook, but there's a group.
Facebook doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
Well, when it used to exist, there was a group called Vancouver Talk. So anytime I get a notification of Professor Nick putting up a lecture or a video, I'll share it on Vancouver Talk. So if you guys aren't already, check out Vancouver Talk on Facebook.
Yeah, and if you want to know what's going on in the city, another thing that is always shared by one of our friends in Vancouver Talk is the city council meetings, and you can watch those directly on Facebook.
Every Monday evening.
Texas Red said, I'm moving to Vancouver, Washington next summer, ready to leave Texas. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that are ready to leave Texas.
And the funny part is that, like, because we moved from California, there's such animosity from the native Washingtonians. I guess they're not really native, but you know, as you think California was the number one state, and when you did the numbers, it really isn't. It's Texas, it's Arizona, it's Florida.
Well, it's international California, but then all those other ones follow closely behind.
Right. So again, just back to your point.
Do people use solar on their homes in the Vancouver area? Some, but a very small percentage.
Yeah, not as many. It seems like it's a growing thing. More and more people are catching on to how much energy you can produce, even if it's not a bright, sunny day. So yeah, more and more people are starting to catch on. I was a little surprised at how few people were taking advantage of it so far. But
I also think it has to do with the fact that we have such low energy rates. If we had the energy rates of California, I think that people would be more motivated.
Yeah, but our electric rates are dirt cheap comparative to some other places we've lived. So I guess there isn't as like
if you go watch the EV video,
that not to cut you off, but that and like when we came from Southern California, so you almost couldn't survive without running your air conditioning a lot of days almost 24/7. Yeah. So you can imagine, you know, you have several $100 into the $1,000 a month electric bills. Here, because it's temperate, you don't need it. You don't need air conditioning, and then if you have electric heat, a lot of times you don't need heat. So there isn't as big a need, but we're certainly going to be doing that.
I just realized we've never had an electric bill here that was more than like, I think $77 or something. So like never had an electric bill in 3 years that was more than $100, which is insane because then you could easily spend $700 on electric in the summer in California. Julian says, stay the hell away from Texas and Florida. I'm not a fan of Florida, although we did meet there. But I just don't like humidity. Jared doesn't like humidity. I like hills and mountains, and I mean, there's other reasons not to like Florida, but to each his own. Any people want to move out of Florida, hit me up. Be happy to help you. I can't wait to go and visit the Cascades and the Batholith. What is that? Batholith.
Batholith. Oh, I don't know. Look it
Got
up.
my handy Google machine. Okay.
Are we almost done?
I think we are done. Are we done? Oh, we still have 2 more things. Okay, We're gonna run through these. This is not that interesting, but you can check it out. It talks about like what Vancouver or what Washington workers have to offer. So like an expert workforce, they're creative. We have low cost energy, an inspirational lifestyle, which is very true. Robust supply chain, centralized export hub, and a pro-business climate. That's a little bit debatable, but...
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I will say one of the best things, going back to taxes, we have very low business tax rates.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm pretty pleased with the business climate here. Is there anything you're not pleased with?
I would just say, like, increasing regulation, increasing threat of an income tax that they've talked about implementing an income tax, but it always gets voted down.
Yeah,
so it says Washington's tax structure allows successful businesses to grow and expand more quickly. We also offer companies in high growth sectors additional tax incentives and credits. What is it called? I forget what they call their business tax, but the rates are low. They're like probably average out to like 1% of gross revenue. There's no write-off, so you just pay on your gross receipts, I think is the way to phrase it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we really, really liked.
Yeah, let me see. Washington, I'll show you guys where to find it. Washington business tax. I don't know, so it's coming up. Here it is. The business and occupation tax. So B&O tax is what it's called. Average is 1.5%. I don't know why. I think the VPN is making it this way. You can see the rates are, where's that? Here, retail sales tax. That's not what I'm looking for. There's a link somewhere on here. If you come to the Department of Revenue, I'm trying not to get too off task. You can find the rates. There's like a whole table for it, although for some reason I can't see it now. Too much pressure. Okay. And then lastly, I did want to highlight this so we're not just highlighting all the positives. This is from the Washington Policy Center. Make of that what you will. They said U-Haul's yearly move-out report shows a surge of people leaving Washington state. So this was kind of interesting because what you'll see here is that for years, leaders in the state government, tax burdens, tighter regulations. What am I looking for? Okay, here. The latest annual report from U-Haul on some 2 million one-way household moves in 2020 shows Washington dropping precipitously from the coveted number 5 spot as most desired places to live all the way down to number 36. So we went from, basically, this is U-Haul's report on one-way moves. I will say that U-Haul is not all-encompassing, obviously. They're not the only company that is moving people. People who are moving with U-Haul are doing it themselves. A lot of my clients hire movers like United Van Lines, or they're using pods.
But, but it's, I don't know, it's if those numbers are true, yeah, they're surprising and they indicate something. And we never want to come off as like Pollyanna. Like, you know, again, Washington is great. It's been couldn't ask for a better move for us personally, you know, and we're 3.5 years in now, but it ain't perfect, you know, and it may not be perfect for you or whoever is watching this video. So, and obviously there's a lot of people who are leaving for whatever reason. Now in 2020, a lot of people change occupations. They move. I heard like either 1 or 2 out of every 10 Americans moved in 2020.
Wow.
So again, there's all kind of reasons. So we're not trying to sit up here and say, you know, you're crazy if you leave. Hey, you know, to each his own, do you? But we try to give a fair and balanced approach to life here in Southwest Washington and the Pacific Northwest. So
yeah, I will say
just not to cut you off, but I personally like to look at and read varying perspectives, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, to us, and we're a little bit jaded, like we love it. We're like, why would you leave here? Like, unless you're moving out of the country. But there's a lot of reasons that people aren't happy, whether it's the political climate, regulation, and probably untold other reasons. So, and we respect and acknowledge them all.
Yeah. We did get an answer on what a batholith is, which you'll like this because it's geology. A very large igneous intrusion extending deep into earth crust, the Cascades. Oh. So here, Google says, is that how you say it? Igneous rock that forms when magma rises into the earth's crust but does not erupt on the surface.
Huh. So it's just pushed up. Wow.
Here's an example for those of you who are clueless. Oh, wait, I can't see. There. Here's an example for, oh, come on. There. Jeez.
It looks like me when I'm wearing my hood.
Our video is mirrored, so I think I'm moving one way and it goes the opposite.
You know what it looks like? Obi-Wan Kenobi. For my Star Wars fans. It's Obi-Wan.
The other thing you guys might like is one of my clients actually, I'll tell you who it is later, but she invited me to a bioluminescence Facebook group in Washington. And so there are all these bioluminescence places where you can go see like crazy.
Come on, this is not show and tell. Answer, I don't know, it's Roger or Julian. Someone had a good question about taxes on a purchase.
Okay. If you purchase a car in Portland and you're living in Vancouver, do you pay sales tax on an item as big as this, or you don't have to pay sales tax? Julian, I missed your retracted message, so I guess I'll just wonder about it till the end of eternity. On a car, because you would end up registering it in Washington, you will pay a sales and use tax on it if you buy it in Oregon. You also will pay the highest registration. Because of that, you'll pay the highest registration cost the first year, but then every year after is very reasonable. I think the rates are like, they don't really publish the rates, so it's hard to look into in the beginning, but they're like less than $100, like $80 something on average. So they're reasonable after the first year, but that first year you are going to pay tax. So there's no real advantage, unless the car that you want just happens to be in Oregon. There's no real advantage to purchasing in Oregon that I'm aware of.
Well, just because we're across the river from Portland, in Metro Portland, you have more choices. So, yeah. I mean, we bought one of our vans. We bought at a dealer way down in, not even past Tigard, remember?
McMinnville. So I don't like driving out there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just far. But that's the car we wanted, and it was there. So, that answers that question. I will also like to get the info for the rental you were talking about earlier. The property management companies. I will text you. Actually, I'll text you, but I just need your email because it's a Google Doc, so I can just share it on Google. So I need your email for that.
This is looking good.
Yes, that's everything. We're gonna hop off. Of course, longer than we expected or wanted. If you have any last questions, you can squeak them in. Otherwise, just leave a comment and I'll answer it. I try to get back to all the comments. For the most part, I really like the hater comments. So, all the people that say whatever they say, hating in the comments, it's all engagement. And I suspect, I don't even know how to tell you this. There's like, every time we post a new video, like within the first day, it gets a thumbs down. Mm-hmm. And I'm convinced it's the same person. So if that's you're helping out my videos.
Haters gonna hate. But thank you guys. And then this week, look out you're doing an interview with one of your dream team people, right?
Oh yeah, I have a really great interview for you guys. One of the lenders that I work with a few different lenders regularly. I mean, if you already are pre-approved, I can work with any lender, of course. But there's a few that I consistently refer my clients to, and so she's gonna be on the YouTube channel. What's it like in December there, and does it snow?
Very little. It snow. If it does snow, typically it's like a dusting, as we used to call it. So it gets cold. It gets dark early. That's really the extent of
what's early.
Winter. I mean early. So like 4:35.
Yeah. Yeah. The snow is just enough to be cute, not enough to be an inconvenience. The longest it's stuck since we've been here is 5 days. And that was long. Like, you would think people were like, they're freaking out. We actually wanted to go out, and you wanted to get Dairy Queen, and all the Dairy Queens were closed. They didn't make any of their employees come in because it was too treacherous.
Yep.
Which is good. I mean, they're protecting people, keeping people off the roads, especially during a pandemic. It's a good idea. This
they
is back in January.
10 times and a half.
Yeah, you would have went up there scooping ice cream. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's all for now, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
We will catch you next Tuesday. If you were wondering when we're going to go live, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we go live.
Yes, and thanks for the engagement.
I'm trying to decide when to take a trip back there. That's why I asked. The darkest day of the year is going to be December 21st. So anytime around that, you're going to have the colder, darkest time of the year. January typically tends to be coldest. So with that being said, we're going to hop off. Leave any other questions in the comments, or of course, text me, call me. You can email, but it'll be a longer response time than if you reach me at that 360 number. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Ciao.